This is one of mine. It was sparked by memories of those old photo booths where you went in and sat down. However, it was their first girls' night out and a good evening all round. On the way home, they spotted the bus station photo booth. Wild and inebriated, piling in, "Let's get a souvenir picture." Stumbling out, the tangle still going on in the booth behind her, Meg saw the photo on the shelf by the delivery chute as she casually glanced down. Then she was riveted. Maybe it was just the extra glass of white wine, she told herself. But in her heart she knew it wasn't. For her there was a perfection in that particular set of brown eyes, that particular set of the mouth. She'd looked for that face since forever. The photo slid furtively into her pocket to be looked at later. Then the others tumbled out to join her, and their own photos slid down the chute for them to laugh over together. That was the week the holiday bookings came through. Meg's mother said, "Better get your passport done. It all takes so long nowadays." She popped out in her lunch hour to visit the local supermarket. There, she could treat herself to an orange juice and a sandwich and get the photos done at the same time. Lunch in hand, but not in frame. She had posed carefully in the little booth, mouth closed and unsmiling as the instructions said. And then gone out to wait for her photos to come through. That was when she saw it, lying face down on the little shelf by the chute. Casually she turned it over and then froze as she looked down at the same boyish grin, the same brown eyes. She reddened and then looked cautiously around to see if anyone had spotted her reaction or was watching her. It was ridiculous. How could it be? Trouble with the page, sorry. That's better. I don't edit these things. Sorry, I haven't got that far yet. However, at that moment her photos rattled down the chute, jerking her back to reality. She grabbed them, checked they were okay, tucked them away and set off back to work. It was only later that she realised she'd picked up that other photo too and slid it in with the first one in the back of her purse. They were compared in a free moment later. It was definitely the same person, but not the same picture quite, though he did seem to be wearing the same green overall. This started something. She began checking photo machines whenever she passed near one, and quickly discovered that almost every machine had a photo somewhere about it. They were everywhere, on the top, tucked into the displays on the side, and sometimes even on the little shelf by the chute. But these were the rejects, the tops of people's heads, the middles of their chests, or even just the blue background curtain. She must have checked nearly a dozen of them, and was beginning to tell herself it was stupid and she must give it up. And then she found the next picture of him. It was on the shelf, just like the other two, still wearing the same green overall, a little more in profile this time. She decided it was a good profile. carried on looking, quickly found 2 more. It was another girls' night out, and since then she discovered another 4 photos of him. All 9 pictures nestled together in the back pocket of her purse as she and the girls sat round the pub table. That was when she spotted him. Not a photo this time, the real thing sat at the end of the bar, apparently on his own. She slipped off to the loo, and on her way back stopped at the bar next to him, unsure how to make an approach. She toyed with the idea of pulling out his photos, but had enough sense to realise that would make her look like some weird obsessive. In the event, a smile was all it took. Men. He'd noticed the group of women, like every other male in the bar, accompanied or not, and asked what the event was. She explained that they worked together and went out as a group every so often. He asked about their work, which naturally led to her asking what he did. "I'm a service engineer on those photo booths," he said. "I make sure they're clean and haven't been damaged. Then I fill up all the chemical trays and take a photo and make sure it all works." I know, she thought, feeling the pictures burning a hole in her purse. They chatted easily for a bit until her girlfriends called her back over, and there was a hasty swapping of phone numbers before she left him. He'd called her promptly the next day, as he promised, and one thing led to another, as they do. It wasn't until much later she felt confident enough in him to show him the photographs and tell him the story. He'd laughed easily, but she was glad she'd delayed. Soon after that, she had him bringing her the photos each day as a keepsake, and to be sure nobody else was finding them. At first she kept them all, but that was soon too much. Then she kept the best one each week. Choosing it every Friday night became a ritual. Looking through the album with the kids, she could see the hair becoming greyer, the face more lined. The kids liked the familiar man they knew, but she would flip to the beginning and say, "Look what a handsome man your father was. You can see why I married him." And then after a moment's thought, "Mind you, I was a pretty face myself then." Okay, keep watching if you subscribe to the channel. Bye.